with us today, we've got Tracy Jackson, and I've been struggling with this. And honestly, Tracy, I'm going to let you say it, but can you pronounce the name of the company the way it's supposed to be pronounced, please?
Well, it depends on where you're from, but it's Tasus or Tasus. What it stands for is Kia Automotive Systems US, so it's abbreviation.
Awesome. And then who else are we going to have with us today, Tracy?
We have Patricia Ramin, which is our quality manager, and she'll be talking about her field and how it relates to manufacturing. And then Mark Colburn, which is our tooling manager, and he deals with all of our tools that come in and out of the facility.
Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and share your presentation now. So folks, so you can go along, and whenever you'd like me to go to the next slide, just let me know.
Okay, so Tasus Corporation, a lot of you guys may not know, but we've been here this last month in September for 15 years. So we've been in Georgetown for quite many years. And nobody knows, we're actually right across, we're on Austin Avenue. As soon as you go over the railroad tracks by Leander Road, we're the big white building to the right, and our physical address is 211 Tasus Way. So we run 3 shifts here. We have around 150 employees, ranging from operations all the way up to engineering. We do a lot here, and it's more than just putting a piece of product into a box. So we're automotive, and that's what our main function is. So it's Tasus have been around since the 1950s. It's a Japanese-owned company. We have 32 locations throughout the world. It's first started as a paint distributor. So we have very strong connections with Toyota. Toyota was built in San Antonio probably about 14 years ago, and that was the reason that we come and we looked at Georgetown. We love the Georgetown culture. Next slide. So if you look here, Koichi Ohara is our CEO, and it's a large company. We're a $1 billion company. We have about 3,000 employees. Our head office is in Japan. Melanie Walker is our president and CEO for Tashia Group North America, which is a huge culture shock because usually you don't see a female reporting into the Japanese world. And it's been a great relationship. Our head office is in Bloomington, Indiana. We have about 500 employees in the U.S.
Hey, so can I ask a question real quick on that? How does it work? Obviously, time zones are very different, and everything else with Japan and here. How does y'all's communication and interaction work being that far apart? Do you have a lot of interaction with the kind of the parent group, or is it mostly what happens in the North American group?
It's usually mainly what happens in the North America group. We do have an annual sales meeting each year where we bring people together and, look at our strategic plans and, our sales and relationships. So it's pretty much North American land. But we have probably one thing with cost is we have the best technology and we have a strong financial backing. And even, if you look at COVID and everything that we've dealt with, we are strong, where there could have been other companies that may have not have been that strong.
That's amazing.
Because of our deep roots.
And to add to that, Breton, we also have Japanese liaisons at our corporate facility that does a lot of the communication with our parent facility.
Oh, so they're in Indiana. They're the ones that communicate a lot with
Yes.
Japan. Cool.
Yes.
And so how many employees are employed actually in Georgetown?
About 150.
Okay, so pretty sizable chunk of that North American group there, huh?
Correct.
Awesome. Wow.
And so we do run 3 shifts. So we run pretty much 5 days a week with overtime on the weekends. we're in some of our press, we're at capacity where we're running 7 days a week right now.
Wow.
So we're going to add additional equipment so we can help relieve some of that pressure.
Awesome.
Next one. So if you look at the next slide, this is going to show the different locations, our headquarters. We have a research and development team. So you can look, you know, from Japan, Southeast Asia. So we're international, we're worldwide. For the Georgetown location, we ship a lot straight to Mexico. That's where all of our customers are located. We're in the good supply chain to be able to deliver to Mexico. But you can look, we're bigger than a lot of people think we are. Next one. So if we talk about how we position ourselves in North America, our Tasus group is located in Bloomington, Indiana. And then we have 3 of our manufacturing facilities in the U.S., which is Florence, Alabama. They've been there about 7 years. And then Georgetown's been here about 15 years. And then we have Bloomington, Indiana. They've been there probably 30-something years. One of the things that when you look at these facilities, they're all in a, when they come here, they looked at the town. And if you look, we have a square. We have the beautiful Georgetown Square. If you go to Florence, Alabama, it's almost identical in a way. And then you've got Bloomington, Indiana that has a square as well. It's really good about the people, and they really reach out to the community and try to grow from within that community. And most of our sites are only going to be about 200 employees. And we do that as a model of culture, because we don't want to get too large, because everybody's important, and we really focused on reaching out to every one of our employees. And then we have Hamilton, Canada, and they do more, when we get into the products, they do more like your decals. Like if you look at the visor where it has the baby seat needs to be turned correct way, they make that type of a label there. So it's pretty much full turnkey with all of our facilities. So next one. So this is some of the products that we produced. Our core products is going to be injection molding. So, and if you were here on site, you could look at what an injection molding, and Mark's actually going to get into that whole process in this presentation. So he'll talk about that. But anything interior of the car, we do, from printing, forming, converting, molding, your speaker housing, subwoofers that go into your vehicles, visors. Those are things that we make interior of the car at the Georgetown location.
Wow.
So if you look at the next one. And so if you look in a car, a lot of people take it for granted. You know, they just get in and drive. They don't realize what it takes to get that car going. So you can look, like we do a lot of the sun visor frames, audio, plastic trim, like on the Tacoma truck. If you look around the hubcap, above that, there is a trim that goes on that. We produce that here. So anything like fuel reservoirs, nothing that's more on a safety side, but just different things that go into the vehicle. So, and one of the good things about working at Tasus is you get a employee discount for a Toyota vehicle. So you get it pretty much at cost for being an employee of Tasus.
Awesome.
Next one. So these are some of the OEMs, which is where we supply to in North America. So you can see these are a lot of they're more of a tier 1, where we may ship to a tier 2 supplier like Johnson Controls that may ship to BMW. But these are some of our main customers, and who we do business with. So we produce a lot of product.
Wow.
The next slide, it's going to show you Toyota has been the leading manufacturing vehicle in the country for probably the last 8 years. They're still number one. This data was back in 2016, but they lead in OEMs in that area. And right now, this facility does a lot of SUVs, trucks, and we're booming. People are buying vehicles even in the time of COVID, because that's what we're seeing now.
Wow. And so, I mean, do you ship primarily with the Toyotas, like to the San Antonio plants, or do you ship directly to them? How does that work?
Well, I mean, we have been shipping to other like tier 2 suppliers, but we do ship directly to Toyota as well. We do a door edge protector that goes on every new vehicle from on the outside where it doesn't get door dinks before it gets to the dealership or to the person that the end user of the product. So we do both, and we're getting more tier 1 work. So there's more activity and requirements based on that.
Awesome.
Next one. So if you talk about Tasus, Texas, is what we call Georgetown. We were established, it's been 15 years ago in September, and we roughly around 150 employees right now. We own our land. We're on 23 acres. We have a 112,000 square foot facility. We're now up to 24, I believe, injection molding presses. Mark will go through the size of the press with you, and we run 24/5. We have engineering, quality on site, maintenance, tooling, repair, warehouse, customer service. Pretty much everything is at the plant level of the day-to-day operations.
Awesome. Wow.
So I want to go ahead and turn it over to Mark Colburn. Mark's been our tooling manager for 15 years here, and he has a lot of experience. He also does a lot of work with partnering with Georgetown and with some of the shops. He's got great expertise and experience to help somebody that's wanting to go into tooling out as well. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mark.
Great. Thank you, Tracy. Nice job. Can everyone hear me okay?
Loud and clear. Yes, sir.
Good. Yeah. We've been on our location for roughly around 15 years, starting our 16th year here in Georgetown. Some of my background is I've been in manufacturing since about 1984, so that tells you I'm getting up there in years. But I've been the last 15 years with Tasus, and about 20 years right in the Georgetown area here. Most of my experience came out of the Michigan area prior to moving to Texas. So I've served as tooling engineer, tooling room manager, maintenance manager, automation manager, whatever they happen to need. So at the time, Suchia, as Tracy said, is a much larger global company, and Tasus actually derives its name from Suchia Automotive Systems US. So that's how the Tasus name is. And Suchia, if you look at the logo, is a somewhere back in their history, besides paint, they actually produced barrels, and the asuchi in the Japanese language is a mallet, and the mallet was used to knock the corks into the barrels. So that's just an odd little side trivia, but it's odd, but we're 100% automotive in our facilities in the U.S. There's 3 facilities. And if you want to go to the next slide, I'll get into kind of the opportunities here. Whenever you sit in your car and you look around and you see all the different plastic pieces, or you open your hood, or you actuate a seat control or something, almost all of those has metal components and plastic components. And when I say I'm the tooling manager, if you look in the lower corner, that's actually what we call a tool. It's not a hammer. It's not a screwdriver. It's not a chisel. This is an injection tool. And these are built basically to certain criterias. They're modular in nature. And probably in our facility, we have about 300 and some odd different tools right now, injection tools, extrusion dies. We used to do blow molding. We've touched a little bit in rim, but through that process, the pile of what we call a thermoset resin is above. We have hundreds of different resins here, everything from polypropylene to nylons to all kinds of different things. All our customers all require different specifications and different types of plastic and different colors and different testing. But it's basically what we're doing is we're taking this resin above and we're molding it under high pressure in the injection tools that you see below, and it's producing specific parts for specific manufacturing. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we do here, but we do it in a lot of different ways and at a lot of different specifications and a lot of different parts for all of our customers. So if you'd go to the next slide, please. That tool that you saw goes into this machine right here that you see. This is an injection press. The tool would actually go into where you see the door. The tool loads in from the top and gets fastened into the machine. And we have various connections. We have electrical connections, water connections, pneumatic connections, all kinds of different connections that have to be made. And then the resin that you see would go into that hopper above the injection unit. You see that chrome funnel like hopper? That's a very simplistic design. We have all automatic conveying systems that bring the resin to these machines. It's all computerized. You know, the machine knows what it's looking for. It calls up a specific resin. It's drawn to the machine by vacuum. So we have a lot of high volume jobs that it would be almost impossible to stay up with the amount of plastic that you need. So there's support systems that are in place to support these injection machines. Our injection machines go from 90 ton clear up to 1,450 ton. And that means that's how many tons that you actually need to keep the tool shut. Because if you look at where that resin is, there's a high pressure auger and temperature, and that material is injected under high pressure. Some of the pressure can be as high as 28 to 30,000 PSI that plastic is injected under. So you need that rough tonnage of the press to actually physically hold the tools closed.
Wow.
So it's kind of a small design up above, but basically that's what you're doing is you're taking the plastic pellet, you're heating it, you're injecting it under high pressure, and you're using the tools to actually form the parts.
It's incredible.
Yeah, next slide, please. You can see that's kind of a rough estimate of how we do that. The gray represents the injection tool. The yellow inside that tool represents the part that's being formed. And then you can see the resin coming in the hopper. There's an auger that spins and compresses and heats that material as it's moving forward. And then the yellow part at the end is actually what is the high pressure ram. So after everything goes through what we call a eutectic point, where a solid turns to a softer liquid, if you will, because a lot of this plastic, once heated, can become the consistency of water. And then that ram comes forward, and that's what injects that into your tooling. We don't always produce just one part. Some of our tooling is capable of producing 8 parts a time. At a time. Some of it is only 1 part at a time, but that technically is how physically large the part is. If it's a small part, you can mold as many as 164 at a time if it's a very small part and your tool's set up to do that. But a lot of our tools here are on the large side, and you get 1 part per cycle.
Wow.
So next slide, please. This would be where Patty would take over, unless anybody has any questions about anything that I've spoke about.
Yeah, we're asking our students and teachers that are on if they'll put those into the chat box if we have any, and then I can kind of moderate out of there. And I don't see any right now.
Okay.
But man, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, not a problem. If any of the students have a question they need to answer, I'll be more than happy to do that. But if not, then we'll move on to Patty, and she'll let you know how things work into quality management.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you very much, y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, Patty.
Great. Okay. So my name is Patty Ramin. I'm the quality manager here at Tasus. I've been in plastic manufacturing since 1987, so that'll basically tell you how old I am. I've been in quality management since 1991. And here I've been with this facility here at Tasus since, for 11 years now. And with working with plastics, I've stayed with it for so long is because it's very fascinating to me. You always learn something new, different products being molded, different materials being used to produce them. And so that's the reason why I've stayed in this industry. Next, please. So I'm here to talk about quality assurance. There's two basic principles to quality assurance. The part, is it fit for its purpose? Is it suitable for what the customer intended to be used for? And then the second principle is making it right the first time. We don't want to have to rework the product or scrap the product because that's just non-value added. Quality management includes raw materials, assembled products, components, production processes, and inspection of the process and the products, and then any services related to the production. Please. So the benefits, again, is customer confidence. If you do not produce a good product, do you want to go back and purchase from that supplier again? So I'll get a little bit more into the benefits and what is quality a little bit later on in the slides. But also having quality assurance, it improves your processes and your efficiencies. Again, we want to make it right the first time, and producing scrap is just non-value added or rejects. And it also makes it easier to compete with the industry. If you make a good quality product, the best advertisement is word of mouth. Mm-hmm. If you hear that he provides poor services, others that hear about it are not quite as interested in using you as a supplier. So I wanted to give a little bit of history with quality assurance. It was introduced in World War II when ammunitions were inspected and tested for defects. If you could imagine being out in the battlefield and trying to serve your country or protect the soldier next to you, and you were to use a hand grenade. I'm not sure, but some of the students may know what a dud is. Fireworks, Roman candles. Have you ever shot a Roman candle up in the air or intended to, and you hear a bang, but there's nothing ignites to show the firework display? That would be a dud. And so that is where insurance started.
That's awesome.
Next, please. So how does quality impact the manufacturing process? I showed a picture here. If any one of the students are interested in geometry or analytical, like working with numbers, looking at how things work, and this would be a good field to look at. I'm showing a part print here. This would be basically the customer specifications, what they require in their product. And so this is part of the design development stage. And then next to it, you'll see this is a speaker enclosure. Tracy mentioned a little bit about this during the introduction and things that we produce. This part here actually goes into Jeep Grand Cherokee. And if you look at the product, once it's molded together, and Mark talked about the injection molding process, these are a two-cavity mold that produces the top and the bottom of the part, and then they are hot plate welded together, and then they are assembled. So if you see the picture of the speaker being installed, part of the quality assurance process is putting together proper instruction on how to make the part as required by the customer.
So you guys don't produce the speakers as well, right? You get that in from someone else and then you assemble everything?
That is correct. We purchased, that would be what we call part of our raw materials or purchase components.
Mm-hmm.
So we would do a receive and inspection on that, but then during the assembly process, we would also test the speaker, and you see the amplifier or the sound tester at the bottom of the page there. But during this process, once they're molded together, part of the verification process is to check the screws, make sure that they're torqued to specification. That would be where the quality inspectors, we have automation or equipment that drives the screws into place, but then quality will do a torque test to verify it meets that specification or requirements. And then the final process, you see at the bottom of the page, that's the finished product, making sure that it's assembled correctly, that labels are applied, and they're packaged correctly. Okay. Next, please. So quality assurance really impacts everyone in their everyday life. One of the things that I like to kind of use so that students really understand the process is at a restaurant. If you were to go into a restaurant and you're standing at the door waiting to be seated, and you wait and wait, is that good customer service? No, you're waiting to be seated and you're standing there forever. You may be tempted to leave and go somewhere else. That's where I'm talking about the being competitive with the market. Once you get your seat, you sit down and you wait for quite a while for the waitress or server to come to you to take your orders for your drinks. You finally get your drinks, but then when you go to place your order, they come to the table and they don't know whose plate goes to which person. Again, it's a little bit concerning to the client or the customer because they don't even know what the server was supposed to be providing. And then if you were to order a burger, you bite into it and it's raw in the middle. Does that meet the customer specification or what you asked for or the intent of what you ordered? No, it doesn't. So that's kind of a little example of how quality impacts your everyday life.
Awesome.
Next, please. So I kind of wanted to touch base on the different fields that are available in quality assurance. Quality management, engineers. Engineers would be involved with product launches and putting together the instructions that I showed on the previous page on how to do the testing, the inspection, and making sure that the product meets the customer's requirements. Quality specialist, that position is typically, it's just a one level lower than engineer. They're basically in training to become the engineer. We do have quality specialists that do work directly with the customer. Quality technicians, they're the ones that would be out on the shop floor that are verifying product quality itself, that may be doing, as I showed in the previous screen, of doing a torque test, verifying that it meets the requirements. Quality analysts, they would be analyzing the process. Metrology specialists, we have equipment here, and unfortunately the students weren't able to be here to see the tour, but we have automated equipment that will actually touch the part on different features to measure diameters, true positions, and distances to see if they meet the part quality of the print. Statistical analyst, that would be SC. So a good example would be is if you had a part weight that was specified, do we meet that part weight and can we consistently meet it? And then another field could be that's in the quality assurance area would be auditing the product, auditing the systems in place to make the product, and also auditing areas for improvement. Any questions?
No, ma'am, I don't have any in the chat box.
Okay.
Okay, this is sort of just an outline of the careers that we have in manufacturing, from business to program management. Program management is really dealing with the customers on their requirements and getting product ready for launch. We have material management, all the way forklift management, warehouse, inventory, human resources. If you like dealing with people, and you like training and development, that would be an area that you'd want to look into, as well as finance and accounting. We also have probably one of the best safety, health, and environmental persons here at our facility, especially over during the COVID time. So our number one goal is to be safe. We also have supervisors, scheduling and planning, process engineering to define the processes, because you got to make it suitable for manufacturing. And then Patty talked about quality engineering and more. We also have automation. For the people that you're unsure about what you want your career into, if you work hard and you want to grow, Tasus is that place for somebody. We've got proven experience from Georgetown students that are currently went to Georgetown or Eastview, and they're working here. I don't know if any of you guys recall Brandon Denson. He was a longtime Georgetown student over the years. He'd come in as a production operator, no skills that much at all. And one of the things that Tasus does, after you've been with us for 1 year, we pay for tuition at 100%, and which is a lot. And we try to get people to use that, because a lot of times people just want to go out and work hard and try to develop that way. But you got to have those skills. My youngest son was from Georgetown last year, and the $1 million question is, what do you want to be when you grow up? And sometimes you think you know what you want to be, and then things change a little bit and you change your career. But if I look at Brandon, he went to a TSTC. He obtained an associate degree there and moved into our maintenance team. And about 8 months ago, he was promoted to our third shift supervisor, and he's doing a fabulous job. He actually also bought him a new Tundra truck and took the Tasus discount for that. And then he just bought his first home about a year ago as well. And one of the benefits is with Tasus, after you've been here a year, Tasus will give you $1,000 at time of closing of buying your first home. Because we really believe that if you work hard and you try to improve your own worth, then this Tasus is a place for you. So there's a lot of opportunity here, and sometimes people don't even, from the outside, it's a lot to go to college. And sometimes, I was not the student that went to college right when I got out of school. I went the technical route, and now I'm in HR. So things can change, but there's a lot of great careers out there in manufacturing. And just think, if you look about the last couple years, we have to make sure we have manufacturing in the U.S. to sustain, and that's going to take all of us to make that happen. So next slide. And so that's pretty much our presentation for the day. We really wish that you guys could have been on site, but we're very happy to participate in the virtual and keep this going. Once everything hopefully streamlines, our doors are open for a tour of the facility, even the teachers as well, of what we really need in skill level. That's all I have. If you guys have any questions for Patty, myself, or Mark, we'd be open to it.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, first off, Tracy, thank you, and Patty and Mark for joining us. It was incredibly informative. If you could give a high school student that was, interested in this industry, making this a career, what would you tell them you could give them a piece of advice.
I think you got to start from the beginning. A lot of times people want to go, I want to be promoted. I want to get up here as fast as I can. We all want that, but I think you got to learn it first. In the long run, if you learn it, you're going to be better off in 5 to 10 years. And I think I've been in manufacturing for 30 something years, and I've worked hard. There's times that it's been difficult, but then it's very rewarding. It's paying, I'm able to live successfully as well. So don't think about Lucille Ball in the factory of manufacturing. There's a career, and somebody's got to do it, and it's actually a great career. So don't let that get in your mind, and think about what you really want in life too.
Yeah, my input would be just be passionate about what you do. Find out what your passion is, and if you're the type of person that always tore apart motorcycles or worked on a car with your dad or was very hands-on or very technical in some way, then come to Tasus, work here, see if it's for you, get that 2-year technical degree, and or go out and get a different 2-year technical degree and then come see us. There's a lot of opportunity for people to find out what they want to do, especially at that age, because I don't know very many people that know exactly what they want to do yet, but it's a good place to start and see what you'd like to do in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to add that options open, and dig your heels into the ground and work hard. I know when I was in school, I had planned on becoming a beautician, a hairstylist. Prior to that, I wanted to be a truck driver. And here I am and working with plastics all these years. It's hard work, but the thing is that there's always opportunity for growth, and having an open mindset really helps.
Yeah, that's also, I think all three of you touched on that possibility for change and being flexible, but also learning the craft at the bottom and starting there too. I think those are great takeaways. So I don't see any other questions in the chat, but unless there's anything else you guys want to add, then we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
All right. Well, thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you so much. This was invaluable.
All right. You guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.